Hello, everyone. So, hope you have some morning tea like I do, and hope that you're all well. I'm sorry for not having a video up last week. I think it's been a while since I've had to do that. But this last week was the last week of classes, and then this week is grading. My grades are due on Wednesday. This is Monday. So for me, I know it's like Thursday for you all, but yeah, so and Mondays are always, and I'm sorry for the light, it's just hopefully it's not too distracting. Just think of it as artistic. Um, and maybe it'll change. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, Mondays are always a little bit, I guess, just stressful, and there's a lot to do because I feel like I have to put out little fires, especially since this is well, yeah, this is really the final week that grades can be like changed or in a like easily, or people can turn in like super last minute papers. I generally don't mind as long as I haven't submitted the grade. So I try to not submit until the absolute last moment. Anyway, all that is probably not super interesting to you. I wanted to come on here and do a video on what I'm going to be reading for winter break. So winter break is December and January, just because I've already started reading. So let's get into it. I'll just, I guess, preface this by saying that um, the class that I'm taking at the university next semester is about Hegel, Nietzsche, and Marx. So that's primarily Hegel and Nietzsche are going to be my concern. I might fit in Marx, but since I read him this last semester in class and I've read him before, I just feel like I need to concentrate more as well, especially on Hegel, since I've only read one of his works. So I'll just start off with this one. It is Building Inner Strength. It is about the philosophy of the School of the Mind by Wang Yang Ming. So I really love Chinese philosophy. I probably need to learn Chinese if I'm so interested in it. Um, but yeah, I've been actually just reading this. I haven't been able to read this morning just because I made, I think, the mistake or did the right thing by checking my various work and school emails, and I had to do stuff. But um, hopefully I will have like my morning reading at some point. Yeah, so I just feel like this is a really sort of beautiful kind of spiritual journey about focusing on studying, balancing the material with the spiritual, and having sort of the awareness of our own divine spark. I think there's just a lot of really lovely, beautiful ideas in here. So I'm really enjoying this book. So this is just what I want to read. I'm also reading Hegel's Phenomenology of Spirit. So I would very much recommend the foreword in here. It's kind of like an introduction or a summary to the book by, I think his name is Finley, J.N. Finlay, maybe. Um, I just you will feel very confident by the end of that foreword slash introduction. And then there's a 45-page preface by Hegel, which Finlay recommends to read at the very end. But of course, I'm just not doing that. I'm reading it anyway in the beginning. Sometimes I like to read what comes at the end first because I feel like it's more like conclusive and summary like. So I'm liking this. I also have um, a few commentaries. So I have this Harris book, which I started reading, I don't know, at some point, maybe last year, maybe 2 years ago. It's not very long. It's about 100 pages, and it's about the phenomenology of spirit, basically, I think. Or maybe just Hegel's ideas overall. Yeah, it just says an introduction to Hegel's thought. So, but I think it focuses on phenomenology. So I'm not reading it right now, but it's my plan. I also have this book that I suppose I picked up rather randomly at some point for some reason, but it's going to benefit me now. I think his name is Tom Rockmore. Yeah, Tom Rockmore. It's called Cognition, An Introduction to Hegel's Phenomenology of Spirit. So I had read some of this online, I think maybe about self-consciousness. I don't remember if I was writing a paper or what I was doing, but I have this and I haven't started it, but I think it's going to be really good. So I'm going to be reading that. One book that I don't know if I'll get to, but I have, is Hegel's book on aesthetics. This is not a very long book as well, but it does have quite a hefty introduction and then commentary at the end. So sort of sandwiched, Hegel's actual work is sandwiched in between those two. So I don't know if I will get to it, but it's like in the group on the list. So the Nietzsche book that I'm reading currently is The Will to Power. So this is a collection of his notebooks from I don't remember exactly what it was, 1880, 80? Yeah. Should have figured this out. Oh, 1883 to 1888. So it starts off talking about nihilism, and I feel like he doesn't really talk about that, and at least in the works that I've read. So I've read Thus Spake Zarathustra. I've read Beyond Good and Evil, The Genealogy of Morals, The Gay Science. I think that's it. So this is about 500 pages, I think, or 600 pages. But anyway, this is the book of Nietzsche's that we're reading for the class. So I thought I would at least try to start on it and get as far as I can. Otherwise for Nietzsche, I do have The Dawn of Day. I think this is sometimes called Daybreak. Apparently, whenever I read this, I made it halfway. So I'm probably going to pick this up again. I really like the title. I think it's very beautiful. Oh no, why is my video? I didn't realize that it was like mirrored or not mirrored. Sorry, you're reading these titles backwards. Let's just go with it, okay? I got a bit into like a very small part, of this book, The Birth of Tragedy. So this is Nietzsche's first book, and it's about looking at the difference between Apollo and Dionysus, and those two kind of, I guess, modes or attitudes or approaches to creativity and suffering and life and religion and spirituality. So I think it's really interesting. I'm going to pick that up. It's not very long. And then Gilles Deleuze. I haven't read a lot of Gilles Deleuze, just kind of little things here and there. We wrote his postscript on societies of control in my class this semester, and I've tried to read 1,000 Plateaus, but I didn't. I gave up on that, and I'll have to return to it. But this is Nietzsche and philosophy, and he's written on various philosophers, and I think they're probably really good books. So I just thought that would be a commentary at least. And then for the other random books I'm reading, so this was a book, Leaving the Etosha Station by Ben Lerner. This is a novel that I got via Dr. Ellie Anderson's Instagram, she was recommending like 5, like, I guess, unique or surprising books that she would recommend in terms of philosophy. And she said that one of her professors, I guess in graduate school or maybe undergrad, recommended this book to her as an example of deconstructionism. So I thought I would read it. I'm just about 20 pages in, and it seems pretty good. It's about this guy who is spending time in Madrid on a scholarship to translate, I think, Lorca's poetry or something like that. And he, I don't know, like he seems like an interesting character. So, and then this book on solitude, which is by a psychoanalyst, I think. She's just a psychologist, and someone recommended this book to me on my Instagram when I was telling everyone that I was wanted to write like a paper or a book about solitude, like the phenomenology of solitude. I worked on it during the month of September, but then I just got really busy. And so I am almost finished with this. I think I have maybe 60 pages, 64 pages left of this. This is really interesting, although she's mostly just critical of solitude. She says that like Emerson and Thoreau and various people who wanted to escape to nature, that they had these, she's assessing them as having feelings of grandiosity and basically being high on the narcissist scale. Even she says that she looks at various spiritual leaders as well, like Jesus and Muhammad. And sorry, I always think I used to watch Little Mosque on the Prairie, and like, do I say blessed be his name? But what was it? Muhammad, the prophet. I can't even remember actually. That's why I was pausing. I just like want to be respectful of religions. So, and the medieval mystics, and she kind of, and I think somewhat of a perhaps inappropriate way, says that they are also narcissistic and had savior hero complexes. So, it's kind of insulting and offensive in some ways, I think. And also like unnecessary. Like, why? I don't know. It's the opposite of what I want to do. I want to show sort of I don't know, I guess the positive side or the benefits of solitude, of going into solitude and understanding it, even in terms of like meditation and other practices, showing the deep desire to connect to other people in healthy, appropriately intimate or close ways. Because, if you think about like the different meditations, like the meditation in Zen Buddhism, it's all about bringing love to the world, you know, not only meditating and saying, may I be happy and healthy, but may my neighbor be happy and healthy. May my best friend be happy and healthy. May my enemy be happy and healthy. May all sentient beings be happy and healthy. And so you extend it to the world. And when you're meditating, the great joy of meditation is being able to connect to source, to connect to spirit, but also to understand and connect to all beings, and to understand our connection and our interbeing, our as Thich Nhat Hanh says, or our interdependence. And so I really want to take a spiritual, metaphysical kind of understanding of solitude in a communal and relational one. So, but I'm, you know, enjoying it in the sense that I maybe understand a counter argument, I guess. I don't know. I just feel that the tone is sort of negative and almost, I don't want to say bitter, but that's kind of what I think or feel. So otherwise, what I am reading, so next semester I am teaching an intro to film class, which I've never taught before. So I'm using winter break as I do when I'm teaching new classes to prep. I got this book that I'm super excited about that I minimally started called Film Theory and Philosophy, The Key Thinkers. So this book has essays and chapters on people like Agamben, and most of them I know. Let me see if I can. But I probably don't remember. Adorno, Bergson, Merleau-Ponty, Barthes, like just so Derrida, um, Baudrillard, Lyotard, Frederick Jameson, Guattari, Julia Kristeva, Slavoj Žižek, Badiou, yeah, and Agamben. So like just so many people. I love this. This though is our sort of unofficial textbook. I don't think that we can require our students at our state college to buy this book. If I find it online, I will give it to them, but otherwise I will just scan different chapters. But the instructors at my college use a lot from this book. I think it just is a compilation of really classical essays on film. So yeah, so I'm doing that. And then I'm very behind on my Goodreads. I think I have about 12 books that I need to finish this month, and I just don't think that that's possible. But to attempt to do that, I'm going to read some Anita Brookner. So Anita Brookner writes about, her main character is always this intellectual, kind of displaced woman who appreciates but is also sort of condemned to solitude. There's always or usually like a little bit of a romantic kind of intrigue, I think, but then it never really ends up in like a happy ending. She always just, the main character is usually female. She does have some characters that are about lonely men, but otherwise, the female character just kind of like ends up alone, and you can tell that it's like what she really wants, even though she's a bit morose about it. So I love that. I just so love it. I've read most of her books. A very beautiful, kind soul, and you know who you are, sent me for one of my birthdays, I don't know, so many, like 10 or 12 of these books, because I love, this is the European UK specifically, I think, cover. I don't know where exactly it's from, but I really love these covers. These black and white, they look so beautiful. So these are three that I haven't read: Falling Slowly, Brief Lives, and what is that? I can't read it backwards. A Closed Eye. It's like The Closest Eye. I don't know. So I'm excited to read these. And yeah, I mean, I have a ton of novels, French literature mainly, that I could read. I also have always a desire to read Heidegger, because Heidegger, for whatever, well, actually, no, the reason is one of my favorite philosophers, or maybe my favorite philosophers. I just love how I know he's controversial because his like personal life, and political life, but as a former English major, I love his focus on language and etymology, and I just think that's like an amazing approach to philosophy. So I do have, let me get these books. I do have these books that I haven't finished. So Poetry, Language, Thought, and then The Question Concerning Technology. I'm about halfway through both of these. So I don't know if I will get to them, but I might over this winter break. I also have Heidegger, a guide to Heidegger's Being in Time. So I read the Stambach version of Being in Time. And so I just felt like it was time for a commentary. So I finally got the companion guide to it. I also have two other sort of random Heidegger books. I just really love the Bloomsbury, it's called Revelations. Bloomsbury, yeah, Revelations. That just didn't make sense to me when I said it, but that's what it is. The Essence of Truth, and then this book, which really intrigues me, on mindfulness. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm thinking about reading, or that I am reading. I'm in the process of reading this winter break. So like I said, this week is, I just need to focus on getting my grades in. I think that my grades are due for the university not until like next week, but all of my students for the university are turning their papers in the day after my grades are due at my state college. So it's just, trying to like just make sure that I'm hitting all the deadlines, and then I'm just consistently grading, because grading takes a lot of time because, oh, here we go. I don't know how to be in the light. I think I have a list of going deep, as always. Okay, this is much better. I should have done the video moved over. It's just a lot of emotional labor, in a sense. I don't actually know if I'm using that term right, but people usually use it in relationships, or actually this show that I was watching, Upload, they used it for personal service. Like, I'm just meaning that it takes a lot of me to be really attentive to my students' papers and to try to connect with them emotionally and intellectually through what they have worked so hard on. Like, I know just the effort and the time and the emotional labor that it takes to write a paper. So I really want to honor that by not only spending time quantitatively, but qualitatively as well, if that makes sense. And so, I could hypothetically grade 20 papers in maybe like 2 hours, but I I don't know, even if I'm not spending more than 20 minutes on a paper, or 15 minutes or 10 minutes, however much it is, I don't know, I don't time myself. There's a lot that goes into that energetically. And so when you have 25 students writing about maybe not the same thing, but in the same genre, like you're having them all write about the readings that you gave them in Intro to Literature, or they're all writing about various characters or themes in Celtic mythology or literature, etc. Like, every class has a scope, right? So I never want to give less to the 8th student that's in the list of, like, usually I grade alphabetically. I don't want to give more to my first student's essay than my 8th student's essay. So I need to take a break, like, say after like the 5th essay, so I can be like fresh and new for everyone and give them like my best self. And so in that sense, like, I need a lot of time to grade because of the breaks that I take in between, etc. So I can just give them the best quality of feedback and be, sincerely interested in what they're saying, because it's hard to be interested when you get to the point that you're tired, and you just don't have that much to give. So it's a very like gentle, kind of vulnerable, I guess, process, etc. So anyway, so I'm doing that today, and I'm also trying to get into my, I guess, winter break mode. You could definitely stop watching and stop listening if you don't care about like me, because it's just, I guess, personal. But if you do, welcome. We're chatting. So ideally, what I always want to do every day is I want to meditate, ideally more than once a day. I want to always do yoga, always work out, with weights and abs and all of that jazz. And then I am studying. Those of you who know me will laugh, but whatever. I'm trying to learn German right now, mostly because I'm taking the Hegel, etc. class next semester, and I don't know. Not that I am going to be able in 4 weeks or whatever it is to read Hegel, Nietzsche, and Marx in German, but I don't care. I just still feel like there's something great about like being in the German mindset, and that includes being in the language. And also I would just like to travel to Germany. I mean, I have twice, but I would like to travel to Germany again, and really explore. The first time I was 16, my mom is, I'm going to say somewhat German because she was born in Germany, but she came to the US when she was very, very young. So she like doesn't know the language or anything. But my grandparents and all of my family on that side that's older than my mother and my aunt are very German. And so I just feel like it's kind of a part of me, but I'm also very interested in it philosophically because, that's Heidegger, etc. And also I really like Marx and Nietzsche and Hegel. I mean, we're friends, but I don't know. I don't feel as affectionate toward him and his work. But I'm just, at the beginning of it. Anyway, so I went to Germany for a month with my Oma when I was 16. And then I went to specifically to Germany to visit my family in Mainz for about a week. I guess the first backpacking trip I did in Europe for about 4 months. Then I don't think I went to Germany my second time, that I spent like 8 months. I was really just trying to escape to Europe, but whatever, it didn't work. I'm here in the US again, being an adult. So I would really like to go to Germany and just kind of travel on my own, experience the nature, go to the cemeteries where, that sounds weird, I don't know, to see the grave sites of various philosophers and just maybe, I don't know, can you see Heidegger's cabin that he spent so much time in writing and everything? I'm not sure, but I would assume you could at least like walk by it if you can't go inside. Yeah, so I don't know. And just like eat the delicious food because there's no comparison with European food. It's delicious. That's why every American like goes there and eats a bowl of pasta and just think that it's just things they have like died and gone to heaven because it's that much better. I mean, even in the US, when you go to like farmers markets, you go to these really expensive bougie grocery stores like Whole Foods, the food just is, I don't know, it's not great. So whether you go to restaurants or you cook at home, like that's maybe just my opinion. I'm sorry, America, I am you, but I don't feel like I really enjoy eating until I'm in Ireland or Spain or Germany, etc. So to just enjoy eating actual food will be a big pull for me. But so I don't know. So I would like to do that at some point. So I say that people will laugh because I was studying Spanish for a long time and I still want to learn it. And I was studying French for like a summer. I think like last summer is when I had a tutor. So I just have a hard time being super consistent but I don't know. That's just my problem. But anyway, I'm studying German, like on Duolingo and Busuu. And what else am I doing? Oh, I'm listening to podcasts on Spotify. Sun Insight is what I think I'm listening to right now. So, all right, that's it. Thanks for watching and listening to this chaotic and I don't know, kind of random video. Just wanted to hang out with you all since I didn't get to see you last week. Let me know in the comments below what you are reading if you have a winter break and or at least some time off, what you are focusing on. If you have any suggestions for me, especially in terms of maybe commentary on Nietzsche or commentary on Hegel, although I think I'm pretty set on that. Or if you do think I should go back to Marx and include him, you know, I might finish reading Das Kapital because I didn't finish that. But all right. Thanks, everyone. I will see you next week.